It was 5 o'clock in the morning when Jungkook's eyes slowly opened. The first thing he noticed was the weight of someone he was holding, his wife, sleeping peacefully just beside him. His calm eyes fell on her peacefully sleeping figure. His arms were wrapped around her bare waist, holding her close. Both of their legs were tangling with under the sheet, the warmth surrounding both their bodies. That's when suddenly his eyes softened immediately. The memories of what had happened the previous night suddenly come rush back. Of course, he remembered everything. Then suddenly one stirred in her sleep, snuggling closer into his bare chest, sinking the warmth of his body. A soft chuckle escaped on Jungkook's lips. His arms tightened gently around her as his palms started to rubbing on her bare waist, trying to give her some ease. His soft eyes looked at her again. He knew whatever happened shouldn't have happened, and he had tried so hard to control himself. But but he was happy it was her, not anyone else, his wife. The woman he had already begun falling for. Maybe it hadn't been much time, but he himself knew that. He already knew that she wasn't at fault when her sister ran away. He had enough power to know the truth. Then his hand slowly raised up, his fingers now playing on her cheek. He caressed the soft edges of her jaw, then trailed down to her neck. His hand continued moving from her collarbone to her shoulder, tracing the curve of her skin. With a soft smile, he leaned closer and placed a soft kiss on the corner of her lips, his lips lingering there for a long moment. Then calmly he pulled back and looked at the clock. It was still early. They both still had so much time. With a soft sigh, he pulled her closer to his chest as he closed his eyes again to fall asleep. The morning sunlight flickered into the room, casting warm golden pattern across the bed. Jungkook's eyes slowly opened, his head slightly throbbing, but not too much, just enough to bear it easily. Then his eyes fell on beside him. The side of his bed was empty. As Jungkook put his palm over his eyes, as a deep sigh escaped his lips, he sat up, looking around the room. Then quietly he said to himself, "This girl, she left." With a sigh, he got up from the bed and started getting ready. After getting ready for his office, he came downstairs. His steps were measured, his expression calm and composed. As soon as he entered the living room, his eyes spotted one of the maids. "Where is Wine?" His voice deep and cold. The maid phoned sadly, then quickly bowed her head. "Sir, ma'am already left for her workplace early in the morning." Jungkook's eyes frowned. He had expected her to ignore him, to avoid him after what had happened last night. But he didn't want that. And now it was happening. With a sigh, he nodded, then gestured for the maid to leave. The office was quiet, the silence heavy in the CEO's room. Jungkook sat behind his desk. Suddenly the door opened. A heel clicking sound echoed through the room. Jungkook didn't even look up. His voice was calm, deep, and cold. "Out." Ara stopped for a moment. Her eyes were already desperate to know whether everything was all right or not. So she didn't listen. She stepped forward, a soft smile spreading on her lips. "Jungkook," she said, her voice innocent. "I just came to meet you." Jungkook's jaw clenched tightly. He stared at her with a calm, clear, piercing eyes. "I didn't get the chance to apologize to you. I just came here to know whatever I did." Her voice stopped as Jungkook stood up with a first strike. He came closer to her, as his whole body towering over her figure. Apologize for what? He said, his voice low and dangerous. For playing your useless games on me. For Ara blinked hurt. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Then she stepped closer, her hand reaching out to touch his face, but Jungkook immediately grabbed her wrist. The grip on her hand was so harsh and firm. Don't you dare to touch me. He released her. I wasn't the only one at fault. If I was, then your wife was too, because she clearly made me run away. She helped me to leave you. A chuckle escaped Jungkook's lips, cold, amused. Ara's brow frowned, confused by the shift of his mood. And do you think I don't already know everything? How could you think I wouldn't find out wherever you are telling the truth or lying? Her eyes narrowed, her heart racing. Jungkook's gaze became darker. Then he said, I have enough power to find out everything. His voice dropped, even lower. Ara was stunned. She had never known Jungkook could find out the truth, the real truth. And now, just wait and see what I will do. What are you going to do? Jungkook simply shrugged. You don't know me. Now get out. She gulped, knowing it wouldn't be good to stay any longer. She quietly turned and left. As soon as she gone, Jungkook returned to his chair and dropped himself into it. His mood was now already thoroughly ruined so much. Pathetic, he muttered under his breath. Jungkook now came inside her room. It was still early when he came home. After asking one of the maids about her, they had already told him that she had came home early. Now he clearly knew that she was purposely trying to ignore him, avoiding him. He came closer to her bed, his steps quiet and careful. Her sleeping figure was so peaceful, so beautiful. He loved watching her sleep. The way her face relaxed, the way her lips parted slightly. He wanted to tell her to shift all her things to his room. He wanted to give this marriage a chance. How badly he wanted her to stay in his room. But she was ignoring him and he didn't even know how to talk to her. He just hoped she didn't have any regret about everything that happened between them. Because clearly he didn't. Not even for a second. That's when suddenly one shifted in her sleep. It's cold, she mumbled. Jungkook's eyes immediately got softened. With a deep sigh, he took the blanket that had slipped off and clearly covered her, tugging it around her small frame. Then he came closer, his face hovering near hers, and placed a soft kiss on her cheek, then followed by another kiss on her jaw too. One shifted slightly in her sleep, but Jungkook's calm, softened gaze never left her. He simply looked at her for another moment. Then, without saying anything, he quietly stood up and left the room. Wine was sitting on her bed, clutching her phone tightly in her hand. Her eyes were now fixed on the screen, reading the headlines over and over again. It was all about Ara. Apparently, Ara was seen having an affair with Jung Sophia's committed boyfriend for almost 5 years, Karo. The accusation also included claims that she had been continuously threatening and even several blackmailing Sophia using all her connections. One's grip on her phone tightened so hard that her knuckles turned white. She had expected this. She knew that Jungkook wouldn't let Ara go this easily. And that's what scared her the most. Not just for her sister, but for her family too. But right now, It wouldn't hurt her family, but he had just destroyed Ara's career right now. One swallowed the lump in her throat, and this was exactly why she was beyond scared right now. Whatever had happened between them last night, she didn't even know whether Jungkook remembered it or not. Then, with a sigh, he placed the phone down on the bed, then quietly whispered to herself, "How long can I keep avoiding him?" She bit her lower lip. "I want to talk to him. At least should know if he remembers something or not." Ara walked inside Jungkook's company as her whole body was shaking. Her face was pale, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone and walked inside. Just then, Jungkook calmly stepped out of his meeting room, his hand tucked into his pockets. The moment Ara saw him, she didn't waste a second. She hurriedly ran towards him. "What did you do? Why did you do that?" Jungkook looked at her with a calm, unreadable eyes. Ara's voice rose, louder now, filled with shock. "You just destroy my entire career. How can you just do that?" All the employees nearby immediately stopped, their eyes turning towards the scene. "Who gave you permission to come inside?" Ara gulped, but she stepped closer. Her voice became desperate, pleading, "Please remove every article from there. Please, I'm begging you." At that moment, Wine walked inside the office. She saw all the employees stood there, as her eyes also fell on Jungkook and Ara too. She stopped, watching them with her quiet, innocent eyes. "Please don't do this. How can you just—" A loud chuckle escaped Jungkook's lips. He whispered, "So, did you forget what you did to me?" Tears were now falling from Ara's eyes. Regret was now all washing over her. She had lost her career. Every single thing in her life was falling apart. "And do you know who helped me?" He stepped closer. "Your own boyfriend, Karo." Ara's face went pale. She wasn't shocked. She knew what Karo was capable of. Then suddenly she kneeled down in front of Jungkook. Wan watched everything from a distance, her heart pounding. She didn't even know what to do. "Please remove everything from there." "I'm sorry. I know I made a mistake. Please don't." Jungkook's calm eyes just looked down at her, but he didn't say anything. "Get out." Without another glance, he put his hand back in his pocket and walked away. Wan stood there, watching everything. She was shocked too. He didn't even listen to Ara. He didn't even give her any chance at all. And the power he held, he could just destroy someone's career within a second. And yes, somewhere she had deserved it for what she had done. Jungkook hadn't even listened. Nothing. And one thing Wine was sure of right now, somewhere she should have maintained her distance from him. She shouldn't have messed with him. A few weeks passed, yet between the two of them, things remained almost the same. If anything, Wine had started making an even greater effort to avoid Jungkook. She avoided Jungkook as much as possible. She didn't come in front of him, didn't meet his eyes, didn't even give any chance to talk to him. And it bothered Jungkook even more than he wanted to admit. Somewhere along the way, he had started regretting everything. Whenever they happened to meet, Jungkook never brought up what had happened that night. He was afraid that she might feel embarrassed, or worse, that she would start avoiding him even more. And because he never mentioned it, Wyan had slowly started believing that Jungkook didn't remember anything. Because if he did remember, wouldn't he have brought it up at least once? Meanwhile, Wine was now leaning against the cold bathroom sink. Her face was pale, her eyes red. Then a wave of nausea hit her again, and she bent down, throwing up hard. After finishing, she looked at herself in the mirror. Her body was trembling from the exhaustion. She didn't know why, but for the past few days, everything had been so hard on her. She had lost so much strength. The dizziness, the nausea. Every single thing was making her body weak. She splashed cold water on her face, then looked at her reflection. Her gaze was now already filled with tears as a wave of emotion hit her too. She started to cry, sobbing hard. Tears were now falling from her eyes. She didn't even know what had happened to her so suddenly. One, this file, can you review it? Rina, one of Juan's colleagues, suddenly stopped when her eyes fell on Juan. She looked slightly pale as her eyes were all red. Rina walked over and made herself sit beside Juan. Her voice was soft with concern. What happened? Juan blinked, confusion flickering on her face. Then she gave a small smile. There's nothing, I'm fine. Sweetheart, you're not fine. Look at your face. Juan sniffled. Indeed, she wasn't fine. And she didn't even know what was happening to her. With a sigh, she said, I don't know, for the past few days, maybe because of tiredness, I have been throwing up so much. And I feel dizzy sometimes. Maybe. She paused. Rina looked at her for a moment. Then, coming closer, she said softly, Please don't mind me, but did you check your pregnancy? I mean, you are married, right? Wine's hand froze. Her heart dropped, listening to her words. She looked at Rina, shock clearly visible in her eyes. Pregnant? She had never even thought about it, and now that Rina mentioned it, her period was late too. But that one single thought made her stomach crunch immediately. She felt like she was going to throw up again. Her whole body now started shaking, trembling. Wine had just returned home and was quietly walking towards her room. Suddenly a voice came from behind her. Wine. She stopped and turned around. Jungkook was standing there, looking at her with calm eyes. Can we talk? Wine remained still for a moment, but then Jungkook's eyes filled with concern. He stepped closer, his gaze fixed on her face. Are you okay? His eyebrow frowned as he properly looked at her face. The paleness, the red eyes, the exhaustion was clearly visible. He came even more closer. His towering figure was now looming over her small frame, making her stiffen. Her hands clenched at her side. The proximity made her so nervous. Then his hand went to her cheek. He started caressing her skin with a concerned, gentle manner. His thumb brushed softly against her cheekbone. He just looked at her, observing her. Then suddenly she spoke. Actually, I'm just tired right now. Can we talk later? I promise. Her voice was quiet, barely above a whisper. Jungkook didn't say anything. Then Wine pulled back. She bowed her head quietly in front of him, then turned and hurried away. Wine's hand now clenched tightly around the report as her blank eyes remained fixed on it. It was positive. She was pregnant. This is the one thing she had feared the most. She had hoped it wouldn't be true. It shouldn't be true. Her version was blurring. The thought of what Jungkook might do and what he had just done to Ara was scaring her even more. He had just destroyed her career over a single mistake. Then it wouldn't be impossible for him to do the same to her too. He could even make her whole family end up on the street. Tears rolled down her cheek as her trembling fingers tightened around the report. She didn't even know what she was supposed to do. What should I do? She whispered to herself, her voice trembling. How? How could I? Her eyes fell back onto the report. He stared at it for a long moment. Then, after a deep, shaky breath, she whispered, I should leave. I shouldn't stay here. I have to leave before he even finds out.